We know we've got nothing but time won't give me time. Welcome to episode 210 of the Walking Leader Podcast. As always, the Walking Leader Podcast is an audio tool for you, current and future leaders, to sharpen your skills and hone your craft. My name is David Guerra, and I'm here to help you every step of the way. So without delay, let's get this episode started. Welcome to this episode, Finding the Time, your self-leadership series, 2021 self-leadership series, Finding the Time. That's what this episode's all about. And I guess you could tell it deals with time, as we mentioned at the top of this show. So again, want to welcome everyone to this action-packed, exciting episode. Alrighty, so we're looking at finding the time. We've talked about being motivated, talked about commitments, talking about dedication, and finding the time to be all of that and to do all of that. Well, it's non-negotiable. You have to find it. You have to do it. See, being a leader involves a different type of commitment and dedication. The difference comes from being a committed and dedicated leader 24/7, 365. That's non-negotiable, as I said. And being a leader is your other full-time job. It's going to take up that much time. And yes, it's going to take up a lot of time. And that's one reason that most people feel that they are ready to do, well, they're ready to do what it takes to be a leader until it's time to step up and be a leader. See, they go into things thinking, oh, well, I can do this or I know this. And when it comes time to actually doing this, well, they're not going to do it. And again, pardon my bluntness, but it's something that we used to say in the military, and it's still out there. And I was an infantryman. I was out there on the ground. I was Grunt 11 Bravo infantryman. And you would always hear, oh, we're just like that. We're just like the infantry, or whatever their job, their military occupational specialty was. They would always equate it to, oh, it's just like the infantry, but we do this. No, unless you went to that training, unless you were actually boots on the ground, yeah, as an 11 Bravo, as an infantryman, yes, then you'd be an infantryman in 11 Bravo. But other than that, no, you're not. If you don't have that boots on the ground experience, there's no way you could be just like an 11 Bravo, just like an infantryman. So with that being said, it's everybody wants to be an infantryman until it's time to do infantryman stuff, to do what it takes, to do what the infantrymen do. Everybody wants that. Everybody wants to do that. But when it comes time to get muddy, get in the trenches, get dirty, get their hands dirty, nobody wants to step up. Nobody wants to do it. Well, that's the exact same thing with being a leader. Everybody wants to be a leader. Everybody wants to talk up a good game about being a leader. But being a leader means stepping up and being the leader, not just talking about it, not just going through the motions. If that's not what it is, that's not what you want, then you're going to be in a world of hurt. And it is that simple. Now, it's nothing against individuals who they are as individuals. Nor is it a strike against their knowledge, their skills, their wisdom, or character. Far from it. But those that recognize that this is the moment they are not ready to lead, those are great leaders in the making. When they realize, wait a minute, maybe this is not my moment to lead. Maybe I need to quit talking the game and start learning and start getting involved and start getting the boots on the ground and start becoming the walking leader. See, once underway, there are people that know they cannot hack the toll leadership takes on the individual, and they're out there. There are plenty of them out there. Yet there are those that decide to fake it and never make it. Well, they're not even worthy of qualifying as a bad manager. See, those individuals that would rather continue faking it soon become quote-unquote micromanagers, and micromanagers, stop. Just stop. There's no room for micromanagers. See, they fail to give the respect to those that are supposed to be leading. That's what that does. It takes away that respect. By being a micromanager, it takes away the respect for those that are actually out there leading, that are actually at boots on the ground, that are actually doing it. See, those individuals will soon find themselves without true and genuine followers because people will see right through them. Then what good are they? They'll have to start again from step one, scratch, page one, whatever. Now, what does finding time have to do with knowing when to play your hand or when to fold them? A poker analogy there. Everything. It has everything. See, if the individual is not prepared to find the time to work on his or her skill set or his or her soft skills, then those soft skills will amount to nothing more than a hill of beans. It's that simple. But there are only 24 hours in a day, and 8 of them are already spent sleeping. Sorry about that. 8 of them are already spent sleeping. True. But what about the other 16 hours? See, 8 of those 16 hours are for working and working with the people you will be leading or managing. That leaves another 8 hours for personal matters such as spending time with the family, hobbies, personal development, all that, and dinner too. So you have no choice. See, one thing to remember, you and I and all of us have one thing in common. We all have the same 24 hours. Believe it or not, every doctor, lawyer, computer engineer, graphic designer, photographer, janitor, teacher, bus driver, student, we all have the same 24 hours. So what does that all mean? It means that while we are all unique individuals, we are all, also the same. See, we have that same amount of time, yet there are plenty of people finding the time within those 24 hours to work on the commitment, the dedication needed to become a better leader. As you can see, it will be difficult, but you have to find the time to be better. You have to use that time to grow both personally and professionally. Now, on this journey of self-leadership, of developing your self-leadership skills, your soft skills, I want to share with you about how to make that time. And again, it's going to be a work in progress. It's not something you can just go ahead and say, oh, I got this. You can't just come up and say, oh, this is the way it is, and I'll extract 5 minutes here, I'll extract 5 minutes there, and altogether it'll be 2 hours. No, it doesn't work that way. Extracting the time you need to expand on what is important while minimizing the downtime is important. You need to determine a continuous time. See, the next thing we're going to talk about is where to extract that time from and what to do with that time, and then how to install the coming change that implementing the newfound time will most certainly bring. See, making time and how to make that time is not an easy task. It is by no means anywhere close to being easy. I exaggerate a little bit. It is to do day in, day out is waste that time. If all you have in your life is time to goof around, play on the PlayStation 4, or go party with your friends, and then yes, making the time is relatively easy because you have so much of it. However, it becomes a difficult task when we are already doing the important work, when we are already putting in that time. The kind of work when we do what we do when we're in school, when we're putting in the hours, the 9 to 5 hours, when we're working on those awesome side hustles of ours, all that, and then we feel like we are still spinning our wheels. Well, no need for the anxiety to set in. Take a few common sense approaches that I'm going to share here with you, taking a few common sense approaches, and we're going to identify the time, adjust that time, and implement the time changes. Let's get started. See, we need to do an audit. First thing we need to do is audit our day, our week, our month, our year, our lives. Auditing your day may take some time to complete. As some days look the same as the previous day, I guarantee you every day is not the same. But you know this, and you do know this. While you're auditing your day, remember to note everything from when you start working. What was the first thing you worked on? And when you take a break, and what time you go to lunch, and so on and so on. Break it all down. Collect your data. Next, determine what works, what does not work, and what you want to start working on. See, you get to see all of this. You collect all this data, and from there you're able to extrapolate all this information. See, among the other things specific to you, you're going to see exactly how much you're giving to that. Additionally, the audit that data that you collect. Auditing that data will show you things that you may not want to see or believe, good or bad. It is all a learning experience. Remember that. A learning experience in that taking a step back will show us who we really are, because in a day-to-day setting, we are knee-deep in the muck, and we don't see all that we really do just because it's part of the background, it's part of the norm, and we're right in the middle of it. Taking that audit, we're able to take a step back and look back at ourselves from the outside looking in, based on that collected data. So at that point, then we can start to identify what can be changed, and we're going to change it. See, after collecting and sorting and dissecting the data, there is a bit more work to do. Now the raw data is going to reveal the truth, the whole good and bad truth. The honest truth of what you have and have not been doing will be revealed. It's going to be an eye-opener, and I guarantee you, and that's a good thing. You want your eyes open. See, it is now the time that we're going to get to work with our eyes open. Now is the time to identify what can be changed, To do this, you will have to honestly determine what you're spending too much time on and not getting a return on that time investment. Next, extract from the collected data what you're spending not enough time on, but need to. Give more time to increase the return on that expanded time investment. And then the final step is to identify the identification process, identify and create the change you feel. This is coming from your gut, from your instincts, not from your heart, but from your gut, what you want to do, what your mission is, what your vision is, and what you want to create. And then having determined the time to be moved, reshuffle, reorganize, reprioritize, and of course, redistribution of that time when you're ready. Next comes the implementation and putting to work the impending changes. So you got to work your plan. When it comes to implementing change in your life, there are 3 trains of thoughts when it comes to implementing and working on the changes. All at once, one thing at a time, or clustering the changes. The latter 2 are more apt to take root in anything that anyone does. Anything that does not appear right or appropriate that can be worked on, modified, and adjusted. Unfortunately, this is a luxury that does not accompany the all-at-once option. See? So take the knowledge for what it's worth. Acting on that change, the one thing at a time, it's my preferred method to deliver and act on. It will certainly increase the level of buy-in and acceptance. Sometimes the want to change is not enough, whereas slow and deliberate actions in a way the plan is implemented and worked will initiate and increase and stick success and make it take root. See, once the first change is implemented, then another can safely be brought in and implemented. And that by taking those slow, deliberate steps, you are now on a path to integrating the next change. The plan is to make the changes easy and an easy implementation of the changes to you, your life, and your mission and goals, because you're slowly working them into your life. See, throughout the entire process or working the plan, you have another set of tasks to do. Those tasks are being constant and consistent when working on the fit and that working the plan will make. Be careful, for once you stop being constantly consistent is when you revert back to your old ways. And it's really easy to do that, folks. It's really simple to just fall back to the way it was. See, you will be negating everything you've done up until this point, but you've already set a baseline. You've already set a standard. And yes, that can be revived. But why do that? You're just going to end up going in circles. See, the goal was to make the time to work on those things that will make a return on that time investment. The goal is also to minimize the continued action of the things that are not generating the kind of return you seek. Thus, it falls on you to stay the course. Staying the course of progress and change will most certainly ensure you're making the time. And isn't that what making the time is all about? Creating some success? So think about that and put it to use and work on it and look at it. And you can do it, but you have to start with that audit and determine what it is that you're doing now that's not working for you and find out when it's happening and then change things around. It can be done. It really, truly, just put in a little work. Well, we have reached the end of this episode, and if you have any questions, then leave me a voicemail at 956-720-0060. That's the Walking Leader Hotline, 956-720-0060, or tweet it to me at Dave Guerra, DaveGuerra on Twitter. And you have been listening to the Walking Leader Podcast with me, David Guerra. Come back next time where we continue taking our steps on our Walking Leader journey to becoming the Walking Leader and a leader that is truly great to follow.